Good afternoon again, everybody. I hope you're well. Thanks for joining us again for another live stream. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, based on where you are in the world. And we're wearing lime green today, and the CRJ1000, the longest variant of the Bombardier regional jet that we've enjoyed plenty of times in the past. And this is one of the default liveries which is included with the package. The base pack, the 550 and the 700 variants of the CRJ are currently on offer. Substantial discount, in fact, for Orbex's Fly Live. They're doing a bit of a partner sale at the moment. And we're here at the fantastic Sim-Wings Gran Canaria Airport. Scenery in MSFS on the VATSIM network as well. A couple of Osprey there too. Badger, David, David Bartley, David A, Jim, hello to you guys. I hope you're well. And today we are going to be venturing off to Marrakesh, Menara. It's been a little while, but we've got the PerfectSoft Studios scenery installed, ready to go. And we're going to do a back-to-back, so we're going to complete the rotation, fly there and fly back here to our point of departure at Gran Canaria. If you're new to the channel, warm welcome on board. Please do hit like and subscribe down below. Come and say hi in the live chat while we're here. And all the links are in the description below if you do want to get your hands on anything shown today. I confess, I'll probably pre-warn you guys, I've not flown the CRJ for a very long time, so God knows how well this is going to go. It could be so messy, potentially. I feel like I've done a bit of setup already. I feel like I've remembered some of it, but we are heavy, we're long, and we are low to the ground too, so very different. And I've got to remember those rear mounted engines, when you increase the throttle on approach, it will put the nose down. When you idle the throttle, it will bring the nose up, so that's something I've got to be really careful of. All the other way around, I forget. And I don't want to fall victim of its supercritical wing structure either. APS Gaming, hello. Zato, thank you, buddy. There's our load sheet for today. We are heavy. V1 at 149, rotate at 149, V2 155. And remember, there's no auto thrust. It's all done by the magic of skill. Let's get rid of the passenger doors, get it closed.
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
Park brake was on, so let's remove those. And we'll go to the checklists tab, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to try and remember everything that I can. Got to flick that across to V speeds and turn them on. I want V2 there, 155 selected at the base. Okay, so let's go to the legs page for a second. And we'll bring up Navigraph for you guys. So there's our route, fairly short, about an hour each way, with a turnaround in the middle. And we're going to depart Gran Canaria on runway 03 right. Probably bring my B-Pilot flight plan in. There we go. So we've got to cross 3 left, we're going to depart 3 right, taxiing all the way down towards Zulu 2, I think. We'll cross at Zulu 2 onto Zulu 6 and then take off. Nice long runway here, in fact. Coral 9 Alpha departure for us. So initially flying runway heading 025 degrees. So on the aeroplane, I'm just going to set that now. 025. Let's just clear the master cautions and the warnings. Out to Islay and at or below 4,000 feet before turning right, heading up to Lanzarote. Want to be Coral 9 Alpha, want to be at or above flight level 310 at that point, which is mega. It's 112 nautical miles away though. Yeah, pretty cool. It's cross Islay at or below 4,000, maintain flight level 100 and await further clearance, but we don't have any ATC online, so it would just be whatever we see fit. But initially I'll set 4. I feel like I'm going to be a bit too busy for that though. Find out. Might as well test our ability. See what we can remember. And then from Lanzarote, we're going to be on the Uniform November 871 airway all the way up to Azura, GMMI. We're well into our descent at that point because we're then going to be heading into Magav and then into Marrakesh. Currently expecting Magav 3 Alpha and ILS runway 10 for the approach there. I think I can add it in here. Magav 3 Alpha. Via or Darlow, which is that one. We can add that to the route. It's basically a little side step from Magav onto the ILS. So we're going to have to be nice and precise here with this. Make sure landing rate monitor's fired up. Want to make sure the route plan is installed onto the onto that system. Set it as the active plan. Flight level 320 for cruise. Can't remember if we set that up. Is it in here? I forget. Flight level 320, lovely. Yep, there we go. So that's all looking good. Shuts, hello buddy. Matthew, Ashley, welcome. Buenas tardes. And the commentator, hello to you. And Doc as well, welcome folks. Good morning to Hayo in Brazil, welcome. 1228, 2000. We'll leave those off for the time being. And we're not going to do a push and start because we're just going to go straight onto here and turn left. I think it's a non-pushback stand, but we've got the whopping great big ruddy tug in the way and the ground equipment there. So I am tempted somewhat to probably reverse out with pushback. I haven't quite decided yet. Speed, we need to make sure that is set. That's 165 at the moment, so it's V2 plus 10, it's automatically set. Lovely, happy with that. And that trim is set as well. Make sure the air conditioning systems are on.
Thank you.
Positions on the ground, AL simulations. Oh, fantastic. Little bleed into yesterday. Continuous ignition on. Get rid of that weird dreamy music. Before we think we'll get confused, think we're in a lift. What else do we have here? Max stab trim's all done, yaw damper's all done. That's all looking good. That's all standard. It will correct itself upon engine start. Okay. Bring that range in a little bit and we'll do an engine start, shall we? Engine 2. Is it engine 1? Engine 1. Okay, watching the N2s. There. Oh, I'm trying to remember this. Unlock it, put it to the idle position. We put our beacon on, I think we did. Yeah, we did. Of course we did. I can hear the wind more than I can the engines. But effectively, I think we're just gonna have to drive through this guy because he's not out. He's not moving out of the way anytime soon. I don't think. What have I missed? What have I missed? Oh, good grief. Boost pumps. Doofus. Boost pumps, boost pumps, boost pumps. Told you it wouldn't take me long to forget something. Now we can hear the engines. God, can't start it without fuel. What a noob. Promise you I've not been drinking. But today, don't forget to press the like button. know what? When I got onto stand, I said to myself, don't forget the boost pumps. Reese, hello. Like, don't forget the boost pumps, whatever you do. And yeah, what did I go and do? Forgot the boost pumps. Hey, you know what? I'm here to make the mistakes so you guys don't have to. Kevo, yeah. I'm trying to remember what... Oh, you know what? I used to have such a good flow with the CRJ. I was at 1 with the CRJ at one point. And I'm trying to get back to that with without any practice, basically. Ian can't get the flight plan in. What are you trying to add in? Where are we going here? Where is it? Index? Brief. Flight plan! So I downloaded it from SimBrief, the .flp file, put it into the work folder, but if not, you just type GCLP, then GMMX over here, and then you need to add Coral here. If not, you go to the next page and you add Coral here, and then you work down with your directs and then your airways and things, whatever's required. That should get you in there. Okay, engines 1 and 2, you're pleased to know have started. We're going to go flaps 8. Is it flaps 8 do we want? I think it is flaps 8 that we want. Just check. Yeah, flaps 8. See, I do remember things. Looking at the CDU, we've got no warning lights, seatbelt signs are on, APU still on at the moment, but the engines are looking good, so let's get the APU off. Taxi lights on, we're going to put the centre nose light on as well. Top tip from Matthew when he was a CRJ captain, before he's moved on to the 767s. And don't forget we've got to close the APU valve as well. Air conditioning's on, recirc fan is on. Working down here, we've got the windshield heats on, and we want the probe heats on as well. Dome lights are set as required, and we've got the cabin pressure set for our landing elevation. I'll close the SOV valve now because I will forget, and we'll leave continuous ignition on until after departure. That's all good. That's set. They're set. We don't need any. Actually, do we need any? Yes, we want the Gran Canaria VOR 112. Nine. Oh, that was correct, had it all along. 1129, nav 1. We'll arm the thrust reversers, we'll pop the nose wheel steering on. Let's go to the checklist so we don't inadvertently click anything. Flight directors need to go on. Oops, it's not the 737, Luke. Ooh. No, it's speed mode after departure. I think it's nav and speed mode, but only after takeoff. I can't remember that now. Yaw damper's done, high flyer, thank you. I think we're good. I think we're good. Course, let's set. In fact, we don't need a course. We're going to stick to the RNAV element of this. Right. Ground charts. You'll have to ignore the fact there's a big blue tug in the way because I'm going to drive over it. Gran Canaria traffic, Binter 6202, stand Papa 06 is taxi left onto Romeo, left. Yeah, taxi into hold point 02, runway 03 left via Romeo. Oh my god, you know what? I found over the last couple of days, my night shifts, usually I can recover from them fairly okay, but this time round, I am just wrecked. Right, Romeo 12, Foxtrot, right on Romeo, and then we're gonna taxi on Romeo. So let's use that there. Happy days. Jonathan, hello, buddy. Bar break off. Takeoff config OK on the CDU. We're gonna go full right, full left, all the way back on the stick, all the way forwards. And I want to make sure I've got the rudder bits done as well. That just refreshes it in the Sim's mind. Braking pressures. And the extent of the pedal movements and things. Those of you who have done flying training before for IFR, PPL and stuff like that, you will Remember this with the hood, where all you can see is the instruments. Pretend there's no tug there. That you wouldn't even know. Perhaps they're quite heavy. Leonie, hello to you. Saying, I think this is the aircraft I was always looking for. Boeing with less buttons. Yeah, absolutely. Alberto, good morning to you, buddy. Flex set to 46, so the magenta on the display over here. Oh, look at that. The tug's not in the way anymore. The magenta there is effectively what we're going to aim for. Oh, ruined it. Jonathan, yeah, it's been far too long, hasn't it? But we are pretty heavy today. APU doors now shown as closed. Lovely job. Look at that, the immersion. We're not using any sound packs or anything like that. There's no FT sound pack installed or anything like that for us to worry about. We are just using the really good sound effects that Aerosoft have put into their own product. Effectively. Some wonderful ospreys over there. Their natural habitat of a rather nice touristy based airport. That's Tango 6. Alright, we've got to go all the way down here, past the Iberia, I think, for Foxtrot. So I remember the takeoff in the CRJ and the initial climb being a very busy moment in time. So I think, having not flown it for about probably 6 months or so, similar to Jonathan there saying last time he flew the CRJ was maybe 4 or 5 months ago, we're going to have our hands full for sure. Tango 10. So there's the curve in for Foxtrot, and I can see a couple of the signs over there too. We're going to go left onto Foxtrot, which is this little yellow line branching off here. Got how heavy the CRJ1000 feels in comparison to the 700. Badger's on his way, good stuff. And then we're going right onto Romeo. We should start taking bets on how quickly Fly Live Studios overlay will break on us. Probably straight away. Could try and keep that centre line. Ground textures here are just fantastic at this airport. What's the weather doing at the moment too? So, probably refresh that METAR GCLP. Winds are 020 degrees at 28 knots. Wow, okay. Good grief. What's our heading set to?
Gran Canaria traffic,
03.
72 is pushing start.
Okay. Majority of headwind there, maybe a couple of knots of crosswind. A few clouds at 2000, 28 degrees at QNH 1015. Fly Life Studios already broken. Oh, for goodness sake. How has it managed that? That's a first. We haven't even taken off. Honestly. What a load of rubbish Fly Life Studio is. GCLP GMMX IBB 6202. There we go, 11 knots. We've got all our custom views set up like before. From back in the day. Look at that, it's so good. I mean, you remember going back to the release of the CRJ, I wasn't initially sure if it was something I would actually be interested in. But the second I was flying it, and those first couple of weeks where I was just fighting with the aeroplane, trying to learn all of its nuances, all of the system depth and everything like that, I just enjoyed it more and more and more. So I'm hoping it's just like riding a bike. We're going to be able to jump back into it and just throw ourselves into this sort of fantastic aircraft add-on. We're going uphill here. There's the Binter Technic warehouse, the maintenance facility, hangar. We might need it if I really stuff up the landing. And the CRJ was recently updated as well by the Aerosoft team. David, your engines won't start. If you're in the CRJ, check your boost pumps. I want crossfeed on manual now. Hydraulics are on automatic continuous ignition, sorry, is still on. That's all set and lights and signs as required. We've just got the landing lights and the strobes to sort out. Everything else is looking good, and the trim is set. Actually, I think I've flown it twice. Hey, Kevin! It's about to land into Harb in Ethiopia. Yep, in 936, Kevin's call sign. Every time I hear that ding ding ding, it absolutely fills me with dread. Thinking, oh dear, I've pushed back and I've taxied without permission. David, no, I did the exact same thing. Is there a toga click spot here? Yes, it's got to be one of these, isn't it? I think from memory I clicked the button in the past. MPS Gaming, I think so, yes, but I believe it's no longer in service. I think Binter retired them all, I think. Well, this bus is absolutely in the way. Absolutely, Jonathan, yes. But IFR training.
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472 is taxiing to runway 03 right via Foxtrot Echo Juliet Romeo 2, cross runway 03 left, hold at Zulu 6. Gran Canaria traffic.
Now, I'm not sure if anything's coming, so I'll just give it a second. I'll let some other people catch up. Quick poke about Atlanta. I think we've got about 4 or 5 people flying along today, which is pretty good. Right, don't want to burn too much fuel, and it looks pretty clear as well. I can't see anything on the Atlanta maps or anything on approach or anything. Or David says nothing incoming on VATSIM, thank you. Gran Canaria traffic, Binter 6202 is crossing runway 03 left. OMG at Plays, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Great to have you here. We don't want the first left, we want to follow that second yellow line to take us over towards that extra bit of threshold. Look at that windsock, folks. You seen that? Mega. It's even flicking up. That I need to get a screenshot of, I think, when we line up. Always look for the windsock before you take off, whether you fly in real life or otherwise. Binter 6202 is lining up runway 03 right, taking off Coral 9 Alpha departure, Gran Canaria traffic. 1 and 2, all the light signs set as required, and it's that ruddy Sim Update 9 thing with the brakes sticking on. Keep it rolling. Exactly, MPS Gaming. Get that wind chill. Here we go. First time in months flying this. Got a 28 knots headwind. Look at that windsock. It's just incredible. Okie dokie. They're all set as required. Let's get the brakes off. We've done the takeoff config test already. Spool the engines up slightly. Off the brakes. Press toga. There we go. Set. Speed's alive. .80 knots. We're going to accelerate really quick with that 30 knot headwind. Going to help us take off really nicely. Initially flying runway heading. Retain the centre line. Here we go. V1. Rotate. V2. Chase the flight director. Positive rate. Gear up. Just going to trim accordingly for this initial climb. Away we go. Still manual flights. Oh, hello. That's something we're going to have to watch. What have we got here then? So, nav mode, speed mode, autopilot engage. 1,500. Good. That's the one thing when I've crashed in the CRJ, it's because I'd knocked this. So it's the one thing I wasn't really too sure about. Go to 180 now.
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472, crossing runway 03 left. Gran Canaria traffic.
Gran Canaria traffic. Binter 6202 is airborne, passing 2,500 feet, Coral 9 Alpha. Gran Canaria traffic. Aerdog, hello, very good, thank you. Thanks for asking, I hope you're well. Let's see if we can continue this climb up. It says at or below 4,000, but let's just try and get up to our cruise today, 320. We're going to use speed mode for the initial climb. We're going to go through T now so we can bring the flaps all the way up to clean. And away we go. Matthew, yeah, it's a really quick way to to work out where you're going wrong, isn't it? There's the view from the wings. Bernie, hello. Yeah, very long time. Well over, I think, 6 months, I believe. Maybe not as long, actually. I'm not sure. But it certainly feels like 6 months. Hi, Flyer. So, the CRJ900 and 1000 have VNAV, but I tend not to use them. From memory, I used to just use vertical speed mode for the descent. Look at the chop on the sea down below. It's incredible. How are we doing here? 3.5. Lovely stuff.
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472, running up 03 right, expecting a Cora 9 Alpha departure. Gran Canaria traffic.
Danny, yeah, and soon this will be updated to include a weather radar as well. Obviously, once Sim Update 10 comes along and they give us the weather radar functionality. How are we doing in the climb? Through 7 now. Let's go standard pressure because transition altitude's just below us now. 1013. 1013. After takeoff checks, thrust reversers need to be disarmed. Just remembering the flows here. We need to go manual override off and continuous ignition off. That is it, I think. Doors closed. That's looking good. Trims to neutral. Happy days. Bring that range out a little bit so we can see further down our route. And we're going to go through 10. Aha. Go direct to Lanzarote, shall we? It's caught me out already.
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472, passing 2,000 feet. Gran Canaria traffic.
We'll aim for 295 through 10. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I forgot the vectors in there. Whoopsie. Oh well. Good job we noticed it when we did. Flight time Thies, we're looking at about 1 hour each way, and then probably half an hour on the ground in Menara for a turnaround. To be fair, top of descent's going to come up quite quickly, I think, as well, because if we get to... where's Lanzarote? That's there. We'll have a little bit in the cruise before we're then thinking about descent. For the Magav 3 Alpha arrival. Need the charts for this actually. Where is it? In the wrong ones. Magav 3 Alpha, there we go. We want to be at 6,000 by Odolo. But then by 8 DME we want to be at 3,000 feet, so ooh, that's a tricky one. Marrakesh VOR 1131. Switch that. There's an ILS approach, so we want 1099. Yeah, 1099. No, 1097, sorry. We're going to flick that across towards the end, and we'll make sure we're in DME hold mode. 1131. There's a lot of management involved in this because we don't actually have... Forgot to put it at Toga as well. Whoops, climb. We don't actually have a takeoff mode or anything like that. We've got a FADEC which will set the correct power settings for climb, which is what we're getting at the moment. Beyond that though, it's all down to us. So as we level off, we're going to have to bring that throttle down slightly and manage our thrust all the way. Minimums, oh good grief, category D aircraft we are today. 1,840 for minimums, or 334 on a Barrow. Decision height, which I think would be quicker for us to select. So we'll set 334. Like so. Nav source. So I remember when we go to actually commit to the ILS, I need to vector on heading mode and then go into nav source and go on to the ILS. I also want bearings. FMS and then VOR2. Exactly, yeah, I had a really big update, improving quite a lot of stuff. I really enjoyed it pre-update, but there's been so many new aircraft being released, it's kind of drifted into the back burner a little bit. And in a way, a lot of us have just kind of forgotten about it. But it was my favourite aircraft for quite some time, so certainly worth jumping back in. And I forgot how much I enjoyed it, weirdly enough. I'm quite surprised by how much I remember from it as well. It is a remarkable aeroplane. Took a lot to learn, but it looks and flies amazing. Look at that volcanic island in the background there. Wonderful. There's a screenshot. All the screenshots again, as always, they'll go on to Volanta. I must admit that when SAS fly them into Heathrow, I always have to drive past and have a little look. And as Schutz is saying as well, the Aerosoft CRJ is really, really good on performance. There's Lanzarote on the nose. Oh, Matthew, there's a question. I'd say the CRJ is more advanced and makes more sense. The MD-80 kind of is like a bit of a weird mishmash of things. Bring our speed back for climb here so we can actually focus on climbing at best speeds. We'll go to 280. What does the VNAV recommend? VNAV climb target of 290. Okay, fair enough. Max 7.4. Yeah, well, Max 7.4 is just a bit too fast at this point. Mr. Moss, pretty much what that does is it tells, yeah, pretty much what it does is it tells the aeroplane I'm in speed mode with this throttle setting at the moment, or whatever throttle setting I have, I want to achieve that speed. So if you're climbing, it will then work out where you want to be, but obviously for this you want to be in the climb gate, similar to the Airbus in a way. So you just leave it in the climb gate until cruise, and then all the rest of it is ours to deal with all the way up to landing. Not too long to go either for our top of climb. I can't remember where the top of descent is, but I think if I click on direct, yes, here we go, it kind of gives you a bit of an idea when we do get to cruise. But we've got just after ESS, just prior to ESS, there's a little top of descent marker there. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of written underneath NISA. We can look at the legs and compare it against the charts. Navigaph. There we go. Not that one. Let's unpin the Lanzarote, sorry, the Gran Canaria charts for now. There we go. Magav, Odolo. So we kind of want to be about 6,000 feet at Odolo. There you go. At or above 6,000. Magav, it reckons flight level 139. We'll trust it. We'll see what it says and wants to do. We'll trust the VNAV. From there, Magav to Odolo. Magav 3 Alpha arrival into Menara. We're then going to head eastbound 099 degrees, continuing our descent to about 3,000 feet. At that point we're going to be 10 miles from the airfield and intercepting the ILS inbound to Marrakesh. A part of that is overflying the Marrakesh VOR, but that's kind of more for that teardrop overflight procedure instead. We can do fixed rings too. So let's do a 10 mile and a 5 mile fixed ring around the Marrakesh VOR. Fix. MAK. MAK. N. 474 miles to go, look. And almost at cruise. We're just going to achieve that actually. We had to be at or above flight level 310 before Lanzarote, and you can see the top of the banana just here. So we're going to potentially achieve that before we overfly Lanzarote, which is down here somewhere. There's an airport I don't think I've flown to before in the sim. I remember what custom views we've got as well. Got that one set. Better strobes than the Fenix. Oh, look at that, we've got an aircraft going right to left. Just here. There he is. Hopefully we can see him. He's kind of right in the centre of the screen. Just this little tiny blip that I can see. Nice. Actually, yeah, I should do, shouldn't I? Yes, man, hello to you, welcome. Advanced Aviation, there's no decent 777 for MSFS that's worthy of anybody's time, really. The Captain Sim one is just disgustingly bad. So I won't be using that one. There's cruise. If it wanted us just after ESS, isn't it? It's where just prior to that it's top descent, which is there. 320, 289, 50 miles to go to 140. Okay, we'll trust the data. We'll make sure it's correct. Hopefully it is. If not, we're going to need to use quite a bit of drag, I think. Ah yes, window views. Forgot about these ones. Wow, look at that. That's incredible. Volcanic island of Lanzarote. Okay, there's our altitude, 320. We're going to have to bring that throttle back a little bit, and we want to make sure we've set our speed target as well. So if we go to the VNAV page, we can see there it's saying it wants us to cruise at flight level 74, but we know from previous flights that we've done, we want to fly at about flight level, well, about Mach decimal 80. Advanced aviation, yeah, if it's in your budget, buddy, then yeah, that is the best one you can get for your money, sure. You see, I'm just tickling the throttle back a little bit. And I remember from before, my little rule that I'd set, where I don't mind what this arrow is doing for cruise, as long as it's within that magenta bug. So it doesn't matter if it's going towards the top slightly, or if it's kind of almost at the bottom slightly, as long as it's in the centre, or within the boundaries of that magenta speed bug for Mach 80, then it's fine. 88.1% M1 is what I've set at the moment, and it's kind of just holding nicely actually. But very, 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 very discreetly just creeping up on the speed, so we've got to monitor it. I might just go a little bit further down. Probably a bit too far down. You don't want to chase it. Jamie, a lot of information on the display. So one thing you can do is go to MFD menu. You'll see here all this information. You can just change it between lots of different functions. The one I like is the VNAV option. You can see there where top of descent is then due to be. It's telling you top of descent 233 miles and 28 minutes. Really cool. I do need to bring that throttle down slightly. So let's just set another one, about 87-ish. And we're going to watch that engine stabilise and then watch the speed just settle. Hopefully it stays within the magenta. If it does, we're happy. What are we doing at Lanzarote? Oh, it's doing a little right turn, a left turn. Interesting. Very interesting. Oliver, hello, welcome back again, I guess. Thanks for subscribing again. I forgot this was a feature of the CRJ. It's kind of a bit of a bug that's always been present, where it wiggles around on the waypoints as you overfly them. Nice little tailwind for us as well, albeit only 13 knots. Now look at that speed, bang on in the centre. Now it's going to settle once we go wings level. It is pointless because we're transient at the moment. We're rolling, we're pitching, whatever. It's pointless us chasing the thrust. It's pointless us thinking about trim or anything like that, because we want the aeroplane to settle before we start worrying about anything else. If you get stuck with this, you can just work through all of the checklists. That's a point well remembered actually. What's the airport elevation in Marrakesh? 1,545 feet. 80. You've got to manually set this. $1,180. It's 1,200. 400. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4. Because it's 1545, we're going to have to go to 1560 because it goes in 20s. We need to round it up, not down. You try the FS Birds, Hugh. What's that? There's the African coast in the distance as well. West Africa. And the back end of Lanzarote and the Canaries My God, look at that volcano. Remarkable. Couple of volcanoes there. Really nice bit of detail actually from the sim. Big old crater there on that little island. Little speed check. So that's where my throttle's set at the moment. It's quite high up, look. But we are heavy and we need power. 87% N1 is what we've got set, and that speed is pretty much just nice and settled bang in the middle. The fact where that little line comes out of the arrow, there's no magenta going above or below it, which means that the speed's pretty settled there. So that means now we do not touch the thrust. Landing runway 10, David. ILS 10 via Odolo on the Magav 3 Alpha arrival for our touchdown. There's the fixed rings as well. Look at that. Just right in the distance there. Just going to bring that range in a bit though. Jim, it's not far off, is it actually? Dan, hello again. Let's bring up Valanta. See our progress so far. It's quite a short route, really. It's literally that is the extent of it on the screen. Let's hide screenshots for now. There it is. Just a couple of waypoints between the Canary Islands and Morocco, and at ESS VOR Isura. We're going to be heading eastbound over Shishawa, descending into Marrakesh. It's going to be a very short, quite a steep descent, I think, potentially as well. There's Badger right up ahead. He's sort of flying offline though. We've got Turbo Stig and David there. Look like they're right on top of each other actually. And Air Europa 9450 Boeing 736. Wow, okay, cool. Old school. Hold on, 736? Interesting. Wonder if it is a 736. That was the aeroplane there. Condor 8 Mike Charlie is the one that shot over us a few minutes ago. Mr. Moss, yeah, absolutely, hands down, yeah, it's pretty spectacular, isn't it? Barris, sadly, no, not at the moment. It is quite a remote part of the world on VATSIM, though, to be fair. You get some in the Canaries, but not always. I think in Menara we've had ATC once. Blown up, howdy. Oh, Akari. You're on X-plane with the 737-600. You know what, there was part of me there that got really excited thinking there's somebody flying along with a Beta 736 in MSFS. I was looking for some screenshots. Can't ever leave this too long without having to check the speeds. Requires careful management. Nisa's coming up in 160. After that's our top of descent. See, our speed's pretty damn stable there, actually. The biggest mistake in this is setting a throttle setting, and then chasing the speed. You find that you're increasing speed and you're decreasing the throttle a little bit, and it's up down all the time. Aircraft like this, you just want to set an N1, set a thrust setting, let it stabilise and see if it is in the area that you're happy with, around that magenta bug. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the little groove in the middle, because that's unrealistic. Jim, no, you have to transfer to all the different sort of VATSIM branches and things, basically. MPS Gaming. So I think that Volantis Premium's biggest feature is the auto-save thing, but I actually fly with it turned off now because it stutters so much. So I disable it basically. I think the only thing really for Volanta Premium is the screenshots, really. Is that the only... could be the only thing that's the major difference beyond state saving. Afternoon, Andy, welcome. Ooh, Akari's X-Planes crashed, that's not good. Whiskey Fahrenheit, hello to you. Just departed Denver, off to O'Hare, very nice route. North America. Look at that, I'm not having to change the throttle at all. So even though it doesn't have an auto throttle, we don't need to constantly change the inputs. And it does make things a lot easier. Yeah, Mr. Moss as well, pointing out a good point there. Let's show it actually. So we can go to schedules and we can go, right, we want to fly from Gran Canaria, but we don't know where we want to fly to or what airlines or aircraft. So we just click that, boom, there's your route network from Gran Canaria, and you can scroll through hundreds of flights. It tells you the aircraft, the day of the week it flies, the call signs as well, flight times, the whole thing. So you could then look at it and go, okay, so London Gatwick. There you go. So London Gatwick, there's EasyJet flights, there's Tomjet flights, there's a couple of different aeroplanes there, different flight numbers and stuff like that you can use, different times of departure. And if you think, you know what, I don't want to go from Gatwick, you can just press X. You can go, what about Rome? Boom, there you go. There's a Vueling and a Wizz service. A couple of different days of the week there. Really cool. Also, if you have a navlog and can find a fuel burn in the real airplane, we set the fuel burn in pounds per hour on the ED1 display, and it gives you the perfect Mach number. Ooh, very cool. There's a tip that I've not heard of before. Wouldn't know where to begin with that though. Deluton, hello to you. It's asking, is it normal that when I open the AIG manager and go to settings and then errors, there are Lufthansa, Edelweiss and Condor And also when I use the VMR file, it doesn't work for those airliners. It depends. It depends if you have them installed properly, and what the state of your own installation is with AIG. It's a tricky one. If you've got it all working, the VMR should be absolutely fine. But if not, I'd probably recommend reaching out to AIG on their own Discord for a bit of support, perhaps. The best way to get it solved. Andy, nice work. Finished your Dangerous Airports Fly UK tour. Didn't go well, ran out of fuel 10 miles out of the London city. Oh, whoops. Perhaps not then. Dangerous airport though. Cloud's asking, how many countries have I already unlocked in the Volanta Country Challenge? Countries. I've visited 67 out of 242 countries, apparently. Nicholas, hello. Okay, right, that over there, from that bump there, that sort of mountainous region, heading up towards the tip of the horizon where it meets the land, that is Morocco. And look, we've still not changed our power setting. And that speed there is just not moving at all, it's fine. As we burn fuel and we get lighter, the speed will begin to slowly creep up, and we'll then have to change the M1 again. Just bring that throttle down a very, very, very small, like 0.5 to 1% M1, just to keep that speed in limits. I'm trying to remember all the things I used to do, the tips and tricks of flying the CRJ. Verify setup MPS Gaming, that's the one you want to click, is it? I think that's the one you mean, isn't there? Nicholas is saying, is there a difference in the cockpit between the CRJ500, 700 and the 900,000? In short, no, because they are similar for a reason, so pilots can interchange between the different aircraft without having to go through a whole load of extra training, basically, similar to the CRJ, sorry, the 737s from Boeing. But the 900 and 1000 does have the option of having a VNAV. There. But, personally I don't use it. Can use it in this. Does make life a lot easier. You could just activate VNAV and let it work its way down. But I like to tweak it with vertical speed mode. Have that little bit more input myself. But though that was also a tip from Matthew, one of our channel members, who's a real CRJ captain, or was. In fact, now he's moved on to the 767s, which is quite exciting. Okay, so 80 miles to top of descent. GMMX METAR. At the moment, winds are 340 degrees at 6 knots. But variable between 280 degrees and 030 degrees. All the 9s. Scattered cloud at 3,300 and at 11,000 feet. The temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. And the dew point 12, very dry air. QNH also 1015, lovely jubbly. Jan, is the CRJ hard to learn? It is, yeah, because it's got quite a few nuances to it. Like the fact it's got no auto throttle. You have to bear that in mind all the time. You've got to think speed, speed, speed. Especially in descent, speed will run away from you quite quickly. Well, Nicholas, because the exterior model, it's obviously a heavier aeroplane, isn't it? The CRJ1000, if you compare that with the 700, it's a very different aeroplane in the sense that it's heavier, it's longer, the inertia is going to be different, the flight dynamics are, or the way the physics act around the aircraft are going to be slightly different as well. There's a lot of behind the scenes physics type stuff that Aerosoft will have to have done to make it feel more realistic, make it feel heavier. And for €20 more, I don't think that's a massive amount. And don't forget the CRJ 550 and 700 at the moment is on a big sale for Orbex for Fly July. So you can get hold of it and then upgrade for pretty much, I think, almost the same price as just buying the one aircraft. I think we're not far off that. Jim's asking, does anybody know if the runway slope is on the Navigraph charts? No, it's not, but you can see on the charts the height of each, and you can deduct the two. Jan, yes, go to the website. I've got loads of PMDG tutorials in a dedicated playlist. But if you also go to that website there, on the live chat link, you will be able to see all of the PMDG tutorials, including an ILS one. There's an RNAV one as well, and a few other bits. Samir, I watched your tutorials for the CRJ, learned it pretty quickly, good to hear. My only problem was, and still is, my throttle quadrant isn't the greatest with the CRJ. Speed's still good. Top of descent in less than 80 now. What throttle do you have, Samia? So as we fly into Marrakesh, I can see that landing on runway 10, we're actually going to be touching down on an uphill slope because the threshold at runway 10 is 1,506 feet, but the threshold at runway 28 on the other end is 1,545 feet, so it's an uphill slope for us. If we were landing on 28, we would be landing downhill, and over 3,100 meters, we're going down 50 feet as well. Which is quite a bit of a slope, actually. It is, when I say it's difficult to learn, it is really, really enjoyable to learn because there is so much to it. And you have to embrace its quirks and how hands-on it is. It's a very hands-on aeroplane to fly. It's not like Airbus, where you can just click a button and it will do it all for you. It doesn't work like that. It's more Boeing-esque, where it basically requires you as the pilot to make the inputs and make the decisions. Dock, exactly, yes. Actually, I think it'll be the other way around, because we're going to be flaring, but our rate of descent technically will be less, therefore it should be a smoother touchdown for us at runway 10. Jan, what do you mean? Any ideas where I should, why? What do you mean? Get rid of that for the time being. Kevo, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much actually, not far off. It's very similar to the 146 with how busy you are during your flight. You do have to watch it a lot. I mean, I love having the window views, and I love dotting around and chasing the sky and looking at the world go by in the window all the time. But it is tricky at the best of times. Oh, there's a glitch in the matrix. Oh, Jan, wherever you like. You've got Volanta, then you've got Volanta Premium. You can click in, you know, an airport you like the sound of, and you can discover all the real-world routes from it, which is quite cool. Andy saying the cockpit of the plane is awesome. The CRJ. I think it'll purchase it from Orbex on the weekend. It is great fun. There's a lot to learn, but it's a rewarding experience as well. I did forget, actually. It's been so long, I forgot how much I enjoyed flying the CRJ. And the beauty is, this CRJ1000 handles very differently to the CRJ700, very, very differently. Same with the CRJ900 as well, it handles very differently to the 700. The CRJ700 is exactly the same as the CRJ550, same aeroplane, just less seats on board, due to like US things. Yeah, Doc, I know what you mean, but I'm thinking the actual way SimConnect works with getting the touchdown ratings. What I mean is the purest sort of look at it, the way it kind of looks at it. You're rotating more to land on an uphill runway, therefore your rate of descent is less, and I think that's what the sim takes as a value for foot per minute for your touchdown. Realistically, it's the other way around. But visually, for us, 50-foot difference, the threshold being, the other end of the runway being 50 foot higher than us, our threshold ourselves, it's going to make the runway actually look a lot shorter. It's going to have that weird, in real life at least, it will have this weird illusion that it's a much shorter runway because it's uphill and we can see the end of it potentially further down on our descent. So it's going to make us feel like we are too high on the approach. Something to watch out for. Bring that range in because top of descent is coming up. 20 miles. So what do we want to go down to? 3,000, wasn't it? Or it was. We'll do 6 initially. 6,000. Let's set the standby instrument to QNH 1015 now. 29908. Wow. Wizz Air are starting flights to the Maldives. There's top descent. You can see the 80-mile fixed ring. So it's actually not an unreasonable top of descent for us. We've got a 20 knot, almost a 20 knot tailwind that's pushing us closer towards Marrakesh as we fly this descent as well. It's something for us to watch out for. There we go. There's our top of yeah, as Ashley's saying there. If you go to the direct page, it gives you the suggested descent rates. We want to be at Magav. Sorry, at Odolo at 6,000, which is going to be 2,500 foot per minute. So now we want to go to 10 miles to top of descent. We're going to go to vertical speed mode. Wants 2.6 now, so let's set 2.6. Bring that throttle down slightly. Just going to slowly bring the aeroplane into a descent. And we want to keep an eye on the speed. So that little bug there, showing that actually we're decelerating. Magenta bug is below the arrow. We don't want that. And there we go, that's kind of evened out the speed now. So I've just changed the thrust setting, about 74% N1, and it's evened out that speed. So I don't mind if we do decelerate slightly, that's going to be fine. And I'm not going to chase it too much, but we are almost at that top of the magenta bug there. There's the star. That's our top of descent now active. So the VNAV's given us a path, and it's also given us the ball down the bottom here. So I think it's suggesting 2.5 again. It is, there we go. So let's change that to 2.5. And that star is now, the snowflake's going to come back in line with that vertical deviation there a bit more. I think we're going to need about 68% N1 for the descent, I think. Tomcat, hello. How's the heat wave for you? It's been pretty unbearable, to be totally honest. Let's bring that speed right down, actually. Go for 67-ish%. VNAV, we don't want climb, we want descent, target speed of 290. Let's set 290. Bring the range in. Check on VPilot here, we've got QNH1015. So what we can do is just come out of this a second. 1015. Cool. And performance-wise, landing VREF's 145 knots for approach. Down the bottom, we're going to flick this across, and we want to make sure that we go to DME hold on 1097, providing it is the correct frequency. Just going to go to heading mode briefly. I'm going to change nav source across. I want the course to match. The course needs to be 099. It's going to be about that. Grupato says, well, I'm not buying the CRJ because Aerosoft forces you to buy the 5 to 700 variants before, and I'm not interested in them. I just wish there was an option to buy the 900 and 1000 alone for €50. Let me go on the Orbex website a second. It's literally on sale at the moment, the whole package on Orbex for $68.99 Australian dollars, which is in euros, 46 euros. So if you want to spend 50 euros, Gurupato, on just the 900 to 1000, you can get the entire bundle for that price, on sale at the moment via Orbex, as part of their Fly July sale. So I guess you're going to be enjoying the CRJ. Keith, no, it's not really a thing, especially in the UK. We've never really bothered with air conditioning, to be honest. Let's go to 2.3. Wow, so minimums are set. Got the other bits set. There's some weather coming in actually towards Menara. That high level cloud that we were on about. Look at the mountains in the distance there. Wonderful. I'm allowing us to go slightly below the VNAV path here because I want to level off a little bit at 10, decelerate down to 250. But I think at that point, this is quite a slippery aeroplane. I remember trying really desperately to kind of slow it down in the past. So I want to get us down towards our flap extension speeds fairly quickly. We'll go to 1015 now because we're going to continue through anyway. All the way down below transition. Andy, just thought on the controller I have the Logitech Extreme Pro. Is that sufficient for the CRJ? I would imagine so. I used to use the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS with it. And whilst it was a little clunky and a little difficult at times, it worked fine. I mean, the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 with the CRJ is just wonderful. Nate, hello buddy. I can't see that you'd have too many issues with it, Andy, to be honest. Wow. China spent about $600 in the last 4 days or so, all on aeroplanes for the sim flight. I think I might have a problem with, potentially. Yeah, that is you're their #1 customer. Menara traffic, Binter 6202 is inbound MAGAV 3 Alpha arrival for the ILS runway 10 via Odolo and descending currently through flight level 130 for 3000 will report established Menara traffic. Okay, might as well idle the throttle now. And I'm going to set speed to about 240 knots instead. Menara is down here somewhere. I'm trying to kind of spot it, but I can't. Probably not, Jan. There's the yoke you need to see. DRF 140, 145. We got speed right off. We're going through 10. Landing lights and signs as required. That's all looking good. God, I think now, do we need to turn continuous ignition on? For approach. I think we do for approach, I can't remember. Let's revert to checklist for a second. Just versus sign, arms. No. Alright, cool. Speed's looking good. Get rid of the music for now. We're below 10. Those look great, don't they? 1015, 1015. Let's bring the speed down. Just let it continue down to about 180. We're just descending on idle at the moment. Hello again, Nate. Welcome back. Thrust reversers armed. 1097. Let's make sure we are just We are centered with that at the moment. Let's go to nav source. Still nothing on lock 1. Andy, good afternoon. Member for 2 months. Thanks for your ongoing support. We'll go back to nav mode with FMS 1 set. Where's the radio page here? 1097. Less than 10 miles to Odolo. We will continue our descent now to 3,000. Lock will be tuned, so that's the aeroplane telling us now it's going to automatically tune the localizer for us, which is fine. We can just clear that message. It will just go off by itself then. Trying to remember all of the little finesse bits, the little finesse finer points of the aircraft. Let's go to heading mode now. 075, nav source, still nothing. Now it's active. Course 99's good. 109.26 miles. Lovely stuff. We'll do 1-4. Let's hide that a second. We're going to change the format to this one. And let's go to set our V speeds. We're on approach mode. So we should be establishing fairly soon. There we go, it's now alive and we're establishing. We're below the glide slope as well, that's good to see. I'm just going to bring that rate of descent down a bit to 1000, it's going to help bleed the speed away. Block 1's active. Altitude C chord coming up for 3000, we're 1000 above. And I think I can see the runway right off in the distance down there. Yes, I can just about start to render in now. Set 099. And missed approach is climb straight ahead to 2000, but not later than 4.6 Mach. Then turn right 185 knots to VOR 3,200 feet, and as directed from there. 90 miles. Menara traffic, Binter 6202 is established. Runway 10 ILS. 18 miles to land. Menara traffic. Now there we go. Proof of the pudding there. How quickly the aircraft can catch you out. See that speed drop, so we've gone flaps 8. Speed's gone below T, so we're below our clean speed. The Airbus will hold it above that. That's our CRJ1000. Want to hold about 180. Manual thrust. Yeah, PerfectSoft Studios Menara scenery is wonderful. Not long to go. We'll be on the ground for a turnaround and we'll head back to Gran Canaria. There's the runway now. So we're going to expect the vertical deviation to be, for the vertical guidance of the ILS to become active soon. Look at that cloud above us. Wonderful. And we're monitoring that speed like a hawk. We're going to go to another stage of flaps, 14 miles. What stage have we got? Flaps 20. That's going to bring the nose down to a more natural pitch. It would be. I think you're looking at the overlay. I have no control over that. FlyLive Studio has set that as CRJ1. It should be CRJX. If you look on vPilot, we've connected to VATSIM as a CRJX. Similarly on Vilanta, it will be CRJX. Yeah, I don't have any control over the FlyLive Studio designations. 12 miles. Still at 3. Still no glide slope active. That's fine because we're on profile here. Just making sure we're holding the speeds. Oh, look how dark it's gone underneath the cloud. It's fantastic. Go to checklist page. We don't want to have anything else on at the moment. Holding 180 quite nicely here. Look, 68% N1. We've got a crosswind of 6 knots. Almost very slightly a tailwind. Got a variable tendency to head into a tailwind. Guara and green, and we're literally waiting for the glide slope now. Andy, yes. Yeah, absolutely. 8 miles, let's go gear down. Go flap 25, I think it is. No, flap 30. Going to bring us speed down to 160 now. And again, this is me controlling the thrust. Right and left reversers are on, seatbelt signs are on. We're going to intercept that. Let's set full flap now, because we should expect glide slope any second. We'll go full flap, we'll set our approach speeds. Now, I think, yes, vertical guidance is now active. The glide slope's alive. I just need a bit more power here. Okay. Glide slope's going to go green. Menara traffic, Binter 6202 is short final, runway 10. So FlyLive has broken again. So, yeah, take all the speeds and things with a pinch of salt on FlyLive. It's absolute nonsense. It breaks every stream. There's the glide slope. And it's getting quite turbulent here. Interesting. In a second we're going to disengage autopilot, so I'll have all the controls. There's the outer marker, in fact. Need a bit more power. That's a bit better. 1,000 above.
1,000.
That was really trippy on my eyes there, but the city just disappeared. So autopilot's off, I'm flying this in myself now. Bit more power. Six-knot crosswind straight across the aeroplane here. But it is switching every now and again to a slight tailwind, which is making it interesting. Matthew, legend. Let us know how you get on. I have done some tutorials, episode 1, 2 and 3 on the channel for the CRJ. If you are wanting to learn it.
400.
Wowzers.
Minimums. 300.
Sync rate.
We're fine.
200. Minimums. 100.
Sync rate.
Just plane.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Idle the throttle. We're using quite a bit of rudder here. And reverse. Green on both. Wowzers. That was a heck of a crosswind. Got really interesting there. Through 60 knots. Minus 62. Winds 5 knots at 341 degrees. Aldo, hello. AIG. Should turn the flight directors off, really. Menara traffic. Binter 6202 is vacated. Charlie 4, taxi to gate 11. Via Papa. That's starting. Okie dokie. Doc, that's awesome. Winds coming from all directions on windy.com. Shows you how good the weather engine is in MSFS. Very tricky. Gate 11 then. Menara is down here, pretty much the end of this terminal building here, the cool looking one. On the corner. On Papa actually, which is quite good. APU's at 100% already. And we can disarm the left and right spoilers. Make sure we go back to white. And we turn off DME hold. We didn't use it in the end, apparently. I remember it being in the Dominican Republic with the Windy app, watching Hurricane Maria fly over us. Probes off. Cool, that's all looking quite good. Yeah, in pre-planning we changed the runway about 4 times. We got confused between runway 28 and 10 in the end. Jan, it's FS Hub's a landing rate monitor. I've done a video on that as well, so do check out the videos on the channel. All the pre-recorded content that I've done covering various add-ons. If you are new to the channel, perhaps there's tutorials for the Aerosoft CRJ. There are there's tutorials covering the landing rate monitor, which is the touchdown rating thing that popped up on the screens, and all sorts of other tutorials. Turning in for 11. Those lights, taxi lights off. It's a wonderful terminal building. It's remarkably nice around here as well. There's palm trees and all sorts. It's a really good bit of scenery, folks, this PerfectSoft Marrakesh Menara. And it gives you a beautiful option for flying into North Africa as well. I'll reset my trim to nearer to 7 for the next leg. It's like the city link of the Canaries, isn't it, Doc? Look how cool that terminal is. I'll call a stop there. Part brake on. Check the overhead. That's all looking fine. Engine 1 and 2 go to the off position now. Fire the unlocks, switch, and spoiler arms and the master cautions go crazy.
Marrakesh traffic, Iberia 2472 is established on runway 10, just under 10 nautical miles to run. Marrakesh traffic.
We've got a few airplanes to watch touchdown. I've got a feeling. Let's try it anyway. I want chocks as well. What do you guys think of the terminal building here? It's great, isn't it? Readability 5. Got to watch a couple of touchdowns. Moldova's not green. Barris, no worries. Yeah, we've got a few aircraft to watch land, and then we're going to work through the actual turnaround as well. So there's not a massive rush. We're going to spot a couple of these landings, although it will be from a distance because there's the actual turn-off point of the runway. It's probably a good plot there to sit up and watch them all. He said established, but I think he's a little bit further away. Maybe further than we thought. Yeah, the Sims Singapore payware isn't mind-blowingly good.
Marrakesh traffic, Iberia 2472, short final, runway 10. Marrakesh traffic.
Right, he's going to pop in any second then. While we're watching him, I'm just fiddling around on SimBrief to try and reload the second sector. There it is. There he is. Popped out through the cloud. Who's in the cloud? Brilliant. What do you reckon, folks? Butter? Watch him land, and as he vacates, I'll disconnect, reconnect into the network as our new call sign of Binter 6203 for the second sector for today. There's the flight plan all ready to go. Looking good. Profile looks great. Oh, wowzers, there's a second one really close up behind. Oh, it's a high flare. A very high flare. Can he get off on time? That's the question. Dave, hello buddy.
At work and just jumped on to thank you for your July's AIG model match you done. Saves me a headache of a job, thank you.
Dave, you're most welcome. Thank you very much for your super chat. It's really generous of you. I reckon he could do a land after. I reckon he'll be fine. I'd commit to this. Like they do in America. They just say land, clear to land after the Iberia CRJ. and then it's basically pilot discretion as to whether or not he vacates.
Marrakesh traffic, Iberia 2472 has exited the runway.
Look at that. Oosh. Oh. There's a bump. It's down. Dave, thank you. Really appreciate your generosity there with the super chat, and you're most welcome as well. Expect extremely late landing clearance. Who else have we got on final? Just dive back in here for a second, because we want to reconnect 6203.
Nice riding, John. Sorry about that.
Lisra 3 Delta, I think. Runway 10 is, isn't it? Yeah, Lisra 3 Delta departure. Crikey, that looks pretty tough. Right, that'd be quite cool. 1131. Just flick it across. Okay, so in here. Goodness grief, what is this weird trippy music? Get rid of it. Let's move it on. There we go. Index. It's not POSing it. Flight plan. So because I've imported the route already, all I'm going to do is type GMMX GCLP. Bingo. Route loaded. Execute. Lisra 4 Delta to Lisra, because actually we initially planned runway 28 because there was quite a bit of confusion with the routings. Let's just clear this a second. Yeah, so we need to go to the legs page, just have a little look here, because we've got a couple of confusing bits for us to deal with the discontinuity. But we've got departure arrivals, runway 10, Lisra 3 Delta, execute. Fix. We can clear these. Just delete on here. Legs page. Clear that together. And then from Lalto for 66 Charlie, which is interesting. Oh no, there was a lot of confusion with the routes. I ended up going with one that Ashley provided as well for the return. There we go. Which is actually kind of put it in already. Rusick, FTV, Feta, Canis, Lalto. Yeah, lovely stuff. That's what that is. Rusick 6 Zulu. We don't want 6 Zulu, but we want the ILS 03 left Zulu, that one. Via Inetta. For 66 Charlie. Execute. And the legs page further on to our route today, should be able to clear that across like so. And then that's sorted itself out quite nicely there. We'll execute that. Commit to those changes. Perf page, flex 46, why not? VNAV setup. 6,000. Going to be about 7. We'll call it flight level 80. We'll just round it to that. for the descent into Gran Canaria. And our cruise today, we want flight level 310. What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? Index, POS init, flight plan, perf init page. Here we go. So, most of that's going to be done in here, in the performance tab. We're going to look at our sim brief flight plan a little bit as well. What have we got here for fuel? 4104. 173 will do. Pax 93. Cargo 2.3. I don't think I want 2.3 tons. That'll probably do. It's more reasonable, I think, and it's given us a takeoff trim of 7.1. If we just click it a couple of times, though, it's changed to 7.4. So there, change the trim to 7.4. And then copy perf init to data to FMS, and it will pre-populate most of this now. And then we'll do alternate cruise of flight level 330 if we can't use 310. Execute that, but we go to the next page. ISA deviation was plus 15 on the way here. It's now plus 14. Don't think this is going to let us do this. There we go, 243 at 8. For winds in the cruise. I'm going to try and get average climb and descent winds as well. Well, I've overshot that in the sim brief plan. There we go. 047 at 7. Climb winds average about 131 at 10. That's all good, that's all good. We've done the legs page, radios set, perf page is done. And MFD shown on VNav with high nav aid, speed, altitude set as well. Flight plan is all complete, runway 10, list for 3 deltas active, and the flight numbers are the Binter 6203 back to Gran Canaria. Let's set our V speeds. 149, 150, 154 there. V2, 154, and it's given us the speed bug of 164 there as well, which is good. This should still be set to 099, which it is, which is the runway heading. If we go to Navigraph charts, not giving us any initial climb, which is fine. So actually we're just going to set this straight up. Well, let's just wind it right up to 310, shall we? There we go, lovely stuff. So that's all set too. So after departure we're going to fly 114 degrees. Let's change the heading to 114 to 10 DME from the Marrakesh VOR. Then we're going to turn right, max to 30 knots, outbound 271 degrees on the Lisra 3 Delta, then south to Lisra. From Lisra, it's there. We're going to stay on the Uniform Golf 850 airway to Agadir, ADM, and then we're going to head over the Atlantic towards Fuerteventura first. And that's going to be well into our descent with our star into Gran Canaria. We want to make sure we tick the correct approaches here. So arrivals, Russie 6 Charlie, ILS Zulu 3 left via Aneta. There we go. So it's going to look like that pretty much, from a bit of a zoomed out idea, and we'll review it closer to our arrival. We'll go through it a bit a bit more properly. Yeah, and make sure you sort out your other bits. Doc, it's a bit too late for me to change the route entirely now, I think. These aeroplanes can be a bit sensitive. Let's from sim brief, set the active plan. Plus everybody else will be following the same route, so everyone else will have to change it and it just gets rather complex. I think that's all of us down. I think there's only three of us. There's the Air Europa, Osprey and Iberia. Jonathan, no worries. Have a good day. Right, we need to spawn the tug, don't we? So for this, what we do is we go to toolbar pushback. I click manual pushback first. It spawns the tug. It's going to load and do a few things, load the logic fit, and then I'm going to click stop. And then I'm going to get rid of it. And hopefully the other guys might be ready. Just going to make sure I've done the flight plan on vPilot, Lisra, Rusik, GMMX 310. Good. Oh, this music's getting weirder and weirder. We are. Pushback. Replan. It's a great airport building, isn't it? Bit to that. And let's get the door closed and get rid of the chocks. Go back to the checklist for now. Up here we need to make sure the boost pumps go on. Continuous ignition is selected. I forgot to turn the beacon off, but we'll turn it off and then back on again. Windshield heat's all set and packs are all on as set as required. They're all on automatic. Emergency lights are armed. Let's go pushback, request push.
Cockpit to ground. This is ground. Stand by.
Doc, I think it's great, yeah. Refresh Fly Live Studio for the second time today. Aldo, I think it's about 23 gigabytes. Transport Gamer, it certainly is, yes.
The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
There you go, it's about 42 gigabytes now. Good grief. Mega.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Menara traffic, Binter 6203, stand 11, push start. Facing west, Menara traffic.
Parking brakes are released.
Super welcome.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Got the music, and we're going to go engine start. Packs have automatically turned off. He's doing his thing. There's another Osprey, look, wonderful. Got it, just in time. And talk about pushbacks doing the whole thing. Doc, interesting. You're the one that created the plan. I'm going to have to find a new route planner. Attacks, yes, AIG livery tutorial is what you want. There's the ding from the flight deck. So, engine 2 starts. Hey there. Watching the intense focus. The flight deck. Good driver. Starting our little turn as well. Come on. There we go. Got it. And then one's starting to rise. I'm surprised it's a detail that you overlook, Doc. You're a stickler for detail usually. You're on it with accuracy. Oops, we'll pretend like I've disarmed the nose wheel. Engine 1 and 2 looks good. Let's go flaps to 5. See if our signs continuous ignition, APU, LCVs open. Isolation valves open, park brakes set. Up here. We'll leave that on, and we're going to go to manual overflow, override, APU off.
Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
Roger. Good engine start. Clear
Probe set on, and
At the side.
SOV valve close.
Hold position
Recognition
for visual.
lights.
Thank you and goodbye.
Whack them on. Blind her. Get out of the way quickly. And that's all set as required as well. So speeds, V speeds, everything all set. We're going for flaps 8 for departure. 154 for V2. Yeah, 43 degrees here, so it's going to require quite a bit of power from the engines really. Let's hide the decision height, we don't need that. And it is 1015 still. Nose wheel steering armed. Thrust reversers armed. That all set as required. And we have got all of that set neutral. It's neutral. They're all set. All right and left. Do some control checks. And I need my taxi charts. Menara traffic, Binter 6203, taxi to hold point, Charlie 6, runway 10 via Papa. A little bit lighter this time. A bit less power required for the taxi. Flight directors can go on. And APU doors now shown closed. We'll leave landing elevation set to 1560 at the moment, just in case we do have to turn back for whatever reason. And our V-speeds are all set. Okay, it's such a great little airport, this. Tech, welcome back. Great to have you tune in for the second leg. Hope you're enjoying it. It's Unicorn City today. Look at that. Attacks IVAO is kind of like the competitor network to VATSIM, so they both hate each other. They do not get on. Ross, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. I hope you're well, and Mike as well. Welcome. We've got to bring this range in slightly so we can see what we're doing a bit better for our departure. Dock, brilliant. That's weird. I think we've only ever seen Marrakesh Centre on once, but it's a shame they've tuned out and disconnected because they'd have had a bit of traffic today from ourselves. There's some cracking detail in the scenery. Like I said a little bit earlier on as we arrived, it's really nice actually to have the difference with somewhere to go and enjoy inside North Africa for a destination, really. Almost 100 likes already, almost 80. Thank you very much, folks, everybody who's hit thumbs up so far. Appreciate it.
Traffic Osprey 490, push start, stand 10, basic runway.
Another similarly quick route, about an hour back to Gran Canaria. We'll get back into that beautiful Sim-Wings Gran Canaria airport scenery. And again, I mean, all the links are in the description below. The CRJ, as we were mentioning on the way out, is on sale at the moment via Orbex, part of their Fly July event thing. There's a lot of partner discounts through that, which is a great opportunity to purchase the CRJ. And you can get the whole pack, all 4 variants, from the 550 up to this 1000 that we're using today, for less than 50 quid. It's about £45, £42, so almost 50 euros. And I can highly recommend it. It is really enjoyable to learn and fly. And you have your hands full. You've got to manage the throttle all the time. And it looks cool.
Menara traffic, Iberia 2472 is pushing start from gate 8 facing west. We'll wait for the departing Osprey traffic. Menara traffic.
There's a heli centre. A couple of static helicopters parked up there as well. ABS gaming, absolutely. And once the weather API gets released, all the developers, PMDG, Aerosoft, Phoenix, all that, they can start working on their on the weather radar, so we can enjoy that too. And it's all down here. The tilt and everything kind of rotates and works. It does do stuff, but obviously it doesn't relay anything onto the nav display because it doesn't work. Winds are 270 degrees at 9 knots now. Variable between 230 and 290, so it's just swept all the way around all of a sudden, which is interesting because now we have a tailwind, which is going to be interesting. The wind is so variable here at the moment. We've changed the runway about 5 or 6 times prior to actually the stream starting. What's that? 270 and 9.
Menara Center, Menara Airport, Osprey 9015 pushing back on gate 3.
Oh, it's literally a 9 knot tailwind.
Papa to Charlie 6.
I think we're going to use most of the runway. I
10.
think we're going to use most of the runway. Those of you who haven't departed or pushed back yet, still doing the last little bit of flight planning, you could choose 28 instead. Okay, cross flows on, manual override, continuous ignition, light signs all set as required, no warning signs here, takeoff config's looking okay, and trim is set. Cross reversers are both arms, nose wheel steering's on, and runway 10 for a 10 knot tailwind departure. Menara traffic, Binter 6203 is lining up runway 10, just for everyone's attention. It's a 10 knot tailwind for the takeoff as well on this runway. Going to be taking off Rusik 6 Charlie departure, Menara traffic.
That would be very interesting.
Yes.
Menara traffic, Osprey 490, taxi to runway 10.
Doc, the wind's swept round again. The latest METAR is 10 knot, 270 degree wind. Crazy. Right. Bring that range in. This is going to be a tricky departure for us.
Osprey 737 can go ahead and taxi first. We'll be behind you.
Toga. Set. Rolling. And not tailwind, so we might struggle to climb here. In direct comparison to how we climbed out of Gran Canaria with that whopping 30 knot headwind, we've now got a 10 knot tailwind in very high temperatures. Not good for the aeroplane. 100 knots. I'm gonna go to max thrust, I think. See, look at the difference here. D1. Rotate. Here's the end of the runway. A lot of work to unstick it there. Positive rate gear up. You guys are going to need max thrust.
Roger, thanks.
Roger, Roger.
Nav. In fact, I want heading mode, sorry, speed mode, autopilot engage. Menara traffic, Binter 6203 is airborne, passing 3000. Crikey, Wiley. Let's speed up to about 200. What's the speed for the turn here actually on the March? Max 230 knots. Let's go to 220 then. We're going to continue climbing as well. We'll go to standard pressure. Standard. Thrust reversers disarmed. Continuous ignition off. Manual crossflow off. And flaps up at the T. That's our after takeoff checks complete. Back to heading mode. I'm going to set 271 degrees initially. We are flying a star that's not really replicated properly in the nav data here on the aeroplane. Almost at 10 miles. Still climbing at 6,000. Attacks. Oops. What happened? Turning right. 271 degrees is what we want. So round we go. Now, we can relax a bit. silent. Fantastic. There's the airfield below. We can continue to accelerate now. So we'll go up to about 250. In fact, we're over 10. Let's just whack it up. Go out to 290. 280 knots actually. That's probably a nice efficient climb rate. Through 10,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all looking good still. Don't want to turn to Lisra yet. There was an intercept that I actually got rid of, so should have left it in there. Rub it up, thank you, buddy.
Papa 4, Papa 5, holding at Charlie 6. Menara traffic.
James, hello, and you're most welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying today's live stream. Block 2, interesting. Let's go here. Nav source. One, 1, 3, 1. Got up to 224 degrees. 224 is about there. So when that blue line hits that, we know we're flying then outbound 224 degrees Lisra. We're going to start the turn in a minute, and then we're going to go direct Lisra. Staying in heading mode. And it certainly was. So I should have used Toga straight away, max thrust straight away, to be fair. Oh, you know what? Climb. Naughty me. Gonna go 224. There we go. Up towards the mountains now. Final little segment of this Lisra 3 Delta departure. Lilo Pilot says SimUpdate 10's API are only for drawing the default weather radar. We need to wait until SimUpdate 11 Plus for the weather data API. Well, that'd be disappointing. But surely that'll mean that PMDG can create their own realistic looking weather radar using the default API, right?
Menara traffic, Osprey 9015 at Charlie 6, lining up runway 10.
Look at that. That weather behind us.
We will wait for 2 minutes for separation for Osprey 9015.
So in here we could probably go... Actually we are going direct Lisra, but we need to probably change this slightly to 222... 8 knots. We've got to try and counter the drift basically. 218. Probably going to be good there. Track made good to Lisra. Yes, lovely. So when we get to Lisra, I'm going to go back to nav mode instead. We'll then go to Bidler instead at that point onwards. Let's get rid of the V-speeds, hide that from the display, we don't need it. And FMS 1 is active. Got the mist over the hills there, look at that. Information Alpha, welcome. Comply or die, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It was great anyway before that, to be honest. I really enjoyed it before that, before this update. Where we got here? There we go. Automator, hello to you. Just flew the CRJ last night for the first time in a while. Forgot what good fun it is and how it can be a handful at times. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great bit of fun, isn't it? It's immersive, it's busy, it requires you to make constant inputs, monitor it all the time. It's just really enjoyable to fly this. And it is on a whopping sale at the moment via Orbex. Aerosoft are doing a big sale on it. You can get all 4 variants for pretty much 45 quid, which is amazing. Bearing in mind how good it is, how it's such good fun, I can highly recommend making the purchase, folks. Let's go to 220 here.
Traffic Osprey 915, taking off runway 104 List Romeo 3 Delta.
Okay, nav mode active. We go Bidler now and let the plane do its thing.
No traffic, Iberia 24/7.
Away we go. Back to Gran Canaria. Yeah, working wonderfully at the moment, isn't it, this CRJ? I forgot. It's been... I'm tempted... I'm going to have to find out how long it was since our last CRJ flight, because I have to say, I'm absolutely loving it. The CRJ series is £34 on Orbex. Is that for the whole thing? Ends in 3 days, folks. Down from 92 Australian dollars to 69 Australian dollars, which is GBP £40. So for 40 quid, you can get this. You can get the CRJ 550, the CRJ 700, the CRJ 900, and the 1000 in the bundle pack from Aerosoft, folks. You know what? Let me get the link for you guys. I'm going to put it in the live chat. That is a stonker of a deal. CRJ. £47, weirdly enough. Now I've logged in, it's telling me it's £47.74. So I think it depends on where you are in the world. There's the link in the live chat for you. The deal ends on the 24th of July. And you get 26 liveries, including the one we've got at the moment, the Binter. There's 2 Binter liveries, in fact, all included. That is an awesome price. You do get a lot for your money, folks, from Aerosoft with this. It is fantastic. Matthew's picked up the CRJ bundle for under $50 here in the US for them. That's fantastic. It's an incredibly good price. Saying you go Russig, direct Russig, was it? After you complete the SIG in real life? You know what I would do, but it's going to potentially confuse everyone else behind us. We've got to all do the same thing, basically, because we're flying a chain of flights. Conga line in the sky. Matthew, yeah, maybe we do. I need to create a little checklist for it, perhaps. You make a good point there. Right, there's our C course, so we're going to be levelling off in a second, and we've got to take over manual control of the thrust. Once I change this music. $400 to go. And we'll cruise at Mach 80. Let's wind it up. Flies like a rocket as well, very quick. Fly nice and high as well. This aircraft comfortably do flight level 410. We're letting go accelerate. Just going back to manual speed control now, so the actual profile, the aeroplane knows it's in cruise. We're still accelerating. We've not actually changed much of the thrust. We've just brought it out of the climb gate ever so slightly by a smidgen. Neil, good afternoon to you, buddy. Last day of the holiday today in Gran Canaria. Very nice. I'll give you a wave as we make our way in. Bottom end of that speed target now, so we're going to bring that thrust down slightly to try and achieve our cruise speed today. Probably it's going to be a similar result to last time, about 88% N1. We're just going to let it settle, we're not going to chase the speed. Dark, exactly. There's a surprising drop there of the thrust. Let's just let it settle. Still creeping up again. Okay, that should be pretty good. And we'll just monitor the speed as it settles now. Leave the Moroccan coast shortly. How's the holiday been, Neil? You've escaped incredible heat here. I think it was almost 42 degrees at one point at Heathrow, and it was just horrendous. Okay, well that speed's tickling up slightly. We could just be cheeky, we could go, you know what, we'll do Mach 81 instead. We'll just let it settle there, look. That'll do. Mach 81 for cruise. She's quick. And I mean, look how quickly we hit flight level 310 as well. Oh, Neil, fantastic. You seen anything interesting, anything rare? James saying he's more of a 747 fan, but sadly they're retiring the old go. Yeah, sadly. VATSIM saying he's going to get the Aerosoft A330. It's going to be quite cool. Some point in the future when it does come, it'll be really enjoyable. Mark says hello. I've been watching while modelling. Black Eagles have just rattled my windows whilst displaying at Farnborough. How incredible. So I missed that earlier on. James was asking, are you a Boeing or an Airbus fan, or both, a little earlier on. So for me, I always thought I was more Airbus. I really did think I was more of an Airbus sort of fan, but it's a tough one. Flight simming, Boeing all day long. It's just more immersive. You get a lot more back from the aircraft add-ons, I think, because it's so much less automated. Otherwise, I think for flying, Airbus has probably got it. I mean, the A380 is just incredible, and the A350 is a remarkable aeroplane as well. Lots of Binter ATRs, as Neil says. Some Spanish Air Force F-18s. Very nice. Yeah, November time we're going to have to start learning the Airbus A310, aren't we? When the Indie Builds released that as part of the 40th anniversary flight simulation update in November this year. Not long to go for that now either. It's going to be closing in really soon, really fast. Wrong way. Oh look, there's Agadir. How awesome is that? Got it on a screenshot. I'll pop it on Volanta. Out the window there. Brazilian Hercules, Neil, as well. That's pretty cool. Have Milvis ditched the ATR? There was a load of stuff recently about it where they've kind of made it sound like they're just going to a different aircraft. Was it the 737-200 or something like that now I think they're making? So I think they've changed tack. There's Agadir below. Andy, no, there's a lot of screenshots from Flybywire's A380, but it's at least a year and a bit away. Yeah, don't expect it anytime soon. It is miles away. I mean, they haven't even really started coding it properly, so that is like 80% of the work. Oh, look at that. Visuals where the Sim excels itself, just smashes the competition out of the water. Look at that. Do a speed check. Nice. Exactly, Andy. But for the majority of the people looking at those, they get really hyped by it. Just click in the center there to resync the heading bug with our direction of travel. We'll be in cruise for a little while. You can see there we've got 30 minutes to top descent. So we've got to think about arrivals and things like that. We've already put in the arrival data. GCLP, let's get the latest METAR though. Oh my god. You guys are ready for this? Winds are 020 degrees at 30 knots. Gusting 40 knots. All the nines, so nice clear visibility before we crash. Few clouds at 2000, temperatures 29 degrees and the dew point 18 degrees, QNH 1014, 40 knot gusts. Awesome. Oh no. Are these the highest winds, the strongest winds we've ever flown in on stream? I'm not sure, could well be. Could well be. There's Navigraph. A little bit drafty, yeah, Andy. Good thing is, if you stand upwind and you've had a lot of beans for lunch, you won't smell it, but everyone else downwind for about 10 miles will. Could be an interesting experiment. Rusig, 247 degrees, Fuerteventura. Flight level 310 still, and then Beta, beginning our descent after Fuerteventura by the looks of it here. Beta 304, Canis, flight level 216. Then breaking off to Ineta. Where is Ineta? Oh, there it is. at or above 5,000. So how do you get... okay, this is interesting. How do you get from Canis at flight level 216 to at or above 5,000 just 20 miles later? That is impossible. Oh well, we'll stick with it. We'll see what happens. No, nevertheless, then we're expecting the ILS approach runway 03 left, ILS Zulu. That one. Baronetta. Okay, this is 12 DMER for a couple of miles, isn't it? Before then flying in on a 6-mile final. Eight-mile final. No, 13-mile final. Okay, well that's fine. Going to be really interesting, this is. We could literally just let the winds carry us down. There's our minimums. We're category D aircraft, so we'll use the Barrow this time. We'll use 380. So over here, trying to do it on kind of a split screen sort of thing. We're going to flick that collar across to MDA. We're going to push it in, and then on the PFD it says 0. So we're going to rotate the collar to match 380, like so. Speeds are looking fine still. 8 miles, 5,000 at or above. 3,800. 3,000 from final approach. The glide slope. Okay, but that, you know what? Let's stick with it. Let's stick with it because that's 3.8. I'm going to trust that it has got itself sorted out and it knows what it's doing. So let's trust the VNAV. Let's trust the data. What's the worst that could happen? Horrendous music. Get it moved. Change it. James, it's not the winds in cruise that are the issue. Got a 15 knot headwind, which is fine. It's actually the winds on the way in. It's a 40 knot gust on final approach at the airport. But we like a challenge, don't we? Let's do it. It'll be fine, I'm sure. Alex, 03 left. There's Rusik already. That's the start of the star, even though we're not going to descend for a little while. Still 25 miles, 200 nautical miles to top of descent. Let's think about some fixed rings. So, we want a 10 DME arc, don't we? From Inetta. Focused upon the LPC Gran Canaria South VOR. So LPC 10. And then if we set a 5-mile fixed ring around that, that's going to be the point where the glide slope should be alive at 3,000 feet. So we've got 10 mile and a 5-mile fixed ring now. That'll do. Speed's still good, 87.2 for the M1. It's holding 300 knots, pretty much bang on there, look. Just at the very bottom end of Mach 8.1. Yeah, David A. So, summary of the plan. METAR at the moment, winds 020 degrees at 30 knots, gusting 40 knots. and we're going to be landing ILS 03 left Zulu via Aneta and the Rusik 6 Charlie arrival. There's the African coast again. Next Wednesday, the 20,000 subscriber group flight, folks. Don't want to miss it. Take part as well. You're more than welcome to fly along with us on VATSIM. We're going to be going Miami to Toncontin, and throughout the stream we're going to be giving away loads of new things, loads of products, loads of giveaways, prizes to be won for all of you guys who have hit the subscribe button. And two of those prizes are a license for either the 737-600 or the 700 from PMDG. So two people next Wednesday are going to win a PMDG 737 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. How cool is that? And there are varying values of Contrail gift cards up to the total value of €50 to give away, some channel merchandise, and two codes to redeem against Burning Blue Design's new fantastic, really realistic denim aerodrome scenery as well for MSFS. So some really cool prizes next Wednesday, alongside an incredibly cool route, very tricky route as well into Toncontin, and we'll be flying the PMDG 737 live for that too on VATSIM. A couple of 1, 2 and 3s here. What have we got here? One, that's a hold. Max 210 knots in the hold over south, Gran Canaria South. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Entry into racetrack pattern is restricted to the approach track, max 210. Shouldn't need that. Actually, that's a point. From Aneta, what does it give us? Straight in. Yeah, we don't overfly the VOR, except for intercepting the outbound radial from 059 degrees away to hold missed approach at 2,500. So the racetrack's not there, that's fine, that's good, that's what we want. What's the other one? Number 3, after missed approach with lost comms away, ATC 4,000. And we want 109, 1150, 150, 1099. Ah yes, Casablanca's online. That's sod's law, we're leaving their airspace in a minute. Oh well, 126. 5. They could have had all that traffic.
39 Joseph. Roger, 390 for Osprey 985, thank you.
Casablanca radar, good afternoon. Binter 6203, flight level 310, inbound Rusik.
Binter 6203, good afternoon, Casablanca Squawk 1001.
Squawk 1001 for Binter 6203.
Casablanca Control, Osprey 915, can we have final level 350? 901, flight approved.
Maintain flight level 350.
Thank you very much. Maintaining 350 for Osprey 99015.
I think it was 1001.
Three, the control flight level 310, the contact. Proceed with flight.
We'll go Binter 6003. Top of descent there, look, at Fuerteventura. Who knows? Going to be interesting, this approach, I think. I think I'd quite like to have ATC in Gran Canaria. That would be good, because then we would get vectors and things by approach, and we could manage the approach and arrival into Gran Canaria that way. Lalta on our route. I don't want it on our route. Just make sure it's not in there. Good, it's not. Look at that, we've not had to touch the throttle once. We've just set it really nicely, 87% M1. It's held that speed.
Contact 370 northeast of Marrakesh. Online channel, the contact receiving point.
In effect, we've got to make sure we're at 3,000 feet by 10 miles. So the threshold. No. Yeah. By 10 miles. At 10 miles we want to be at 3,000 feet. That's basically the baseline. If we are above that, we are going to mess up the approach. We're going to be above the glide slope. So we want to be at 10 miles, 3,000 feet. Otherwise we've cocked it up. Victoria, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Hope you're well.
Okay, good afternoon. Tom Jet 6, Hotel Lima with you, flight level 370.
Oh God. No idea what this guy's saying. Alright, 122 to top of descent, 15 minutes to top of descent, then we're going to work our way down. I just hope this data's correct and we've got it all working nicely. If not, it's going to be interesting. Minimums set. We will focus on the performance of the approach shortly. Landing elevation needs to be set. Let's do that now. Airport elevation 77 feet. We'll do 80. So we've got to wind that down from 1560. Probably. $40. 60, 80. That'll do. Proceed as filed, David, I think. That's landing elevation set. What else? Fuel checked, TCAS set, radar runner off, CAS checked, landing data set both, and approach brief complete. So we know what we're going to do for the approach. We've kind of gone through it, but we'll run through it again anyway. And the lock should auto-tune 109.9 to a course of 026 degrees. We've got to make sure that is set, folks, otherwise it's not going to fly it properly at all. We've tuned the VOR 1150 just in case, and we've set 5 mile and 10 mile fixed rings. 10 mile fixed ring is important because it's also the arc that we want to fly all the way to our course inbound track of 026 for the ILS approach. And that's what we were speaking about earlier on. We line up to the course, the approach here. At 10 miles we want to be at 3,000 feet, and then at 8.8 DME to the threshold we should intercept that 3-degree glide slope down to the runway. Our minimums are 380 feet, so the CRJ1000 is a category D aircraft. Missed approach, climb 026 degrees to 540 feet, followed by a right turn, max 210 knots, but not before 8 DME LPC. Onto track of 119 degrees, and then from there we're going to intercept the radial of 059 degrees LPC outbound, climb to 2,500 feet, and then as directed. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. With a whopper of a gusty headwind, 40 knots. As I said, it's got very cloudy now as well in Gran Canaria. Interesting. The runway's pretty long in Gran Canaria, but we are going to want to try and vacate where we can. At Sierra 6, probably about halfway down the runway, just after the halfway point, there's a high-speed exit at Sierra 3 actually, sorry. Where have we got here? It's 03 left. So halfway down, Sierra 2 is a high-speed exit onto Foxtrot. But actually, if we just keep going all the way to Sierra 3, we can vacate Sierra 3, Golf, and then we're pretty much at our stand. And we want Papa 10, apparently. So another remote stand to park up in. For that realistic, cheap Binter life. But they don't want to pay for any jetties. Almost 100 likes, thank you folks, really appreciate that. If you haven't done so already, do give us a thumbs up, and if you are new, please consider giving us a little subscribe as well. Make hello to you. This could be David, and I think David took off before you, potentially. In fact, it is David, I think. Oh, hold on. No, Air Europa 9451. He is in a 736, to be fair. A bit older. And we're not too far away from Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. Up ahead of us, the island of Fuerteventura. There's Gran Canaria actually, just on the horizon, that big mountainous hill there. That's Gran Canaria, I believe. That is Lanzarote. Yeah, there we go. Lanzarote. Arrecife's here somewhere. Fuerteventura. And then right behind that hill, right on the horizon, is Gran Canaria. The airport's kind of just pretty much centre of the screen on the horizon. Absolutely smashing it. Couple more minutes and we'll have the final METAR. We're in about 10 minutes from now, just pretty much at top of descent actually, which is convenient. But we're going to set 3,000. Set 3,000 for our descent. We'll just work down it, just see what we get basically. We'll aim for a continuous descent down to 3 at 10. Honest Unicom 122 decimal 8 for Binter 6203. Thanks for the ATC. G'day. There we are. At least we had some ATC, I guess. This side, isn't it? So we have, there's the livery. Probably because I pressed the wrong button. No, no, no. Oh, so we don't have those liveries. Okay, no, there it is. I've just got it on a confusing order. Probably gonna have to go through these custom views again and reset them to be proper logical sequence. Because otherwise it makes no sense at all. I think with the CRJ is you don't really tend to get much opportunity unless you're in the cruise with a nice set M1, so your speed's nice and managed. You don't really get much opportunity to monitor wing views and sort of enjoy the outside world through climb and descent because it is so busy. Need to dive back into the Twin Otter at some point soon. Doc, it's a little insight into how my brain works. That custom view pack. Rather messy. If you think Alt+4 would be over wing left engine view every time, you'd be wrong. I had to change the throttle setting once actually for this this flight so far. It's wonderful. Next time we touch it, we're going to be descending. We'll descend on idle again, most likely. Over that way on the African coast, we will. Well, that's pretty much. Was it Tarfaya? Looking at the maps here. And then a country I've never heard of until I just looked at this, called Western Sahara. Interesting. Found the sweet spot tech. Yeah, that's what this is all about. Flying the CRJ is all about making your workload easier. So finding the sweet spot for the engine rating to hold your speed nicely, that's what you want. And then just don't touch it. If you're on a really long flight, say for example our sector is going to be 3 hours long, probably about halfway over a midway point, we'll have burnt off so much fuel, the aircraft will be a lot lighter and you'll see that the speed will start to increase slowly. At that point you just need to bring the throttle down 1%, let it settle, see what it does, bring it down another percent if it's still creeping up. Attack's awesome. 30 knot headwind. We took off with a, was it 20 knot headwind? What do you reckon? Think the data's correct in this instance for top of descent? I hope so. There's Gran Canaria. In fact, I can just about, you guys probably can't, just where my mouse is here, you can see the coastline. Just where the mouse is there is where I imagine is the airport. There's a load of aeroplanes down there. That's Aerosoft. David, yeah. That's Lanzarote. And on that basis, Fuerteventura. There it is. There's Fuerteventura. Just loading in while the Bing data. See how if I leave the camera view like this, we'll see how it changes once it gets close enough to load the data in for the airport. There it is. Yeah, Neil, you're looking at the overlay again. I don't have any control over that, sadly. That's what FlyLive Studio has set. I can't change the code. But as we were saying earlier on, V-Pilot and Volanta, we are CRJX. Okay, 2 minutes to top of descent in fact. Wowzers, let's get the altitude target down. We'll just set 3. We want 3? Let's set 5 initially. Let's be good. Maybe charts. Yep. Let's hide. Let's get rid of those. Don't need the departure charts anymore. Oh, let's Zulu. Aiming for 3,800. But it's a netter at 5. Skydrew, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. There's a netter now at 80. Vertical speed mode. Hi Miles, just slowly start to bring the nose down. We're going to bring that throttle back. (1,800 foot per minute). Wow, it wants 2,700 foot per minute though. Do 2A. Back to speed mode. We'll do 290 for descent. Neil saying Mauritano Airlines is Rare Airlines. Saw in Gran Canaria they flew the 738 and the Embraer 175 2 to 3 times a week. Wow, yeah. Didn't even know they had an airline. James, yeah, it's got reversers, but they have to be manually armed. So pre-takeoff you'll arm them, after takeoff you disarm the thrust reverser system, and then prior to our arrival we're going to make sure they're rearmed again. That looks pretty good. There's Fuerteventura down below. There we have fantastic deals on Orbex at the moment for the full bundle of the CRJ. It's pretty remarkable. Sven, welcome, and saying good to see the CRJ in a stream again. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, folks, that link in the live chat is to the MSFS Aerosoft CRJ bundle, which is all 4 variants, from the 550 up to the 1000. It's on sale at the moment for Fly July's, or Orbex's Fly July event. So Aerosoft are doing a really awesome sale, and you can get the entire pack for less than 50 quid. Yes, absolutely, and it gives you the snowflake based on a recommendation and the little ball down here, so you can set your VNAV to that and it will give you the proper descent profile based upon the data. But having said that, the nav data is wrong, it won't give you an accurate VNAV. Paris, sadly, I'm not going to be able to. Danny, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're enjoying it so far today. And almost 100 likes. See if we can nudge it up above into 3 figures by the time we land. That'd be great. Aneta at 230 there, look. Adder above 5,000. And even though speed's trickled up a little bit, I'm not fighting it. I haven't idled the throttle to think, right, panic mode, I need to increase the rate of deceleration of the aeroplane. I haven't whacked out flight spoiler or anything like that. I'm just letting the aeroplane settle. We don't need to chase the throttle speed. I could just do this if I want to. It has no impact. But I've just set a rough speed target of 290 for the descent. Don't really mind if I go above or below it, as long as it's sensible. What I'm more worried about is where that banana is. I want to be about 5,000 by midway between Aneta and D08L. You can see that radial there. But actually the radial's a bit further wild than I'd have probably anticipated, to be honest. That outer fixed ring, the green there, that's that 10-mile fixed ring that we need to fly. This is something Aerosoft need to fix. LNAV chasing the flight line. It keeps doing this left and right wiggle thing, it's rather messy. Attacks, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone else who's given us a thumbs up today. There's a bit of a concrete blob there appearing, that's the airport. Down we go. $40 miles to Aneta. Probably trickle a little bit more power in. Go to 2,000 feet per minute. Make sure we've recentered the heading bug. Attack, sadly no. Just the 2 legs today. Four minutes to Aneta apparently. Then we want to be at 230 knots. 230 knots, where's my charts? Yes, max 230 knots. Doc, no, I absolutely can't remember what my last CRJ flight was. Type in squirrel, we'll just ignore him. You can keep arguing. If he continues to argue, type a dot wallop and report them. Or just ignore it. That's usually the best thing to do. They'll get bored and go somewhere else then. Ian, you really notice the difference in frames between the Aerosoft CRJ and the Fenix A320 from yesterday. It's huge, isn't it? This is just as smooth as the PMDG 737 for me. But obviously the 737 simulates that a little bit more, I think. .2,000 foot per minute is probably right there. So I've gone for a slightly different descent profile, comparable to what the VNAV is wanting us to do. Gran Canaria traffic, Binter 6203, a CRJ1000 descending flight level 150 for 5000 inbound Inetta on the Rusik 6 Charlie arrival, expecting ILS Zulu 03 left. We'll report on the DME arc, Binter 6203 for Gran Canaria traffic. Dima, hello, welcome. Grief, Doc, God, I'm CRJ, where would we have flown? It could have been the States. It have been the States, your last CRJ flight? I feel like it would have been about 6 months ago. It just feels like we flew the CRJ a million years ago. It's been so long. We've had the 737 and everything else, the 146 as well come in. Good grief. Madrid, I think you're right, VATSIM. Madrid to Toulouse, maybe. Iberia Express. I remember faintly that being one of the last ones we flew. Iberia Express, but I couldn't tell you what month. Is it like February, March? April? April time? I think maybe April. Don't know. Madrid to Toulouse. I think I'll stick with that, VATSIM. I think you're right. Madrid to Toulouse. And it was Air Nostrum, wasn't it? Iberia Express CRJ1000. Good question though, Doc. Okay, let's bring the speed down. We'll set 220. It's max speed of 230. In fact, let's set 215. And then we'll idle the throttle. Wow. I'll try. Typing squirrel, no. You don't have to go to a real stand on VATSIM full stop. And if somebody wants to have a go at you for parking on a stand that you want to park at, but it's not real, then they've got a problem. It's flight sim. You can do what you want within reason. If you're on VATSIM, within reason, you can do what you want. As long as the rest of what you were doing was bang on, your procedures and what you were announcing and things like that, they have absolutely no right or place to complain. Dima, fantastic. Well, welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying it today. So I'm trying to decelerate the aeroplane now. Through 10. We'll do 1,200 foot per minute, and I'm just going to allow us to decelerate slowly still, because we're almost at 230 knots, and we're almost at Inetta. Working out quite nicely for us. Through 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all set, landing elevation set, and looking at all the rest of it, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's set to 80. Happy days. Lock will be tuned, is now active, so the aeroplane's telling us it's going to tune the lock for us itself automatically. One less thing for us to do. Happy days. And then we're probably going to have to go into heading mode to fly the DME arc. Go to about 50-ish% M1 to try and hold the speed at about 220. Great choice, Dima. Brilliant aeroplanes, especially in flight simming. Winds. Let's do a quick METAR refresh. Clear the music for a second. What have we got here then? So, METAR report at the moment. Wind says 010 degrees at 030 knots. All the nines. Few clouds at 20. So few clouds 2,000 feet. 30 degrees Celsius. Dew point 19. QNH 1013. Happy days. Go down to 3.5. I think we're going to keep this rate of descent. I think this is pretty good. 1,200 foot per minute, why not? Aneta now, max 250. Let's bring in the next set of charts. So we're going to go to 12 DME, which is that waypoint there, and then we're going to turn on to the arc, which actually is moving quite nicely with the FMS planned route. So I might just leave it on nav, and the aeroplane will fly itself that way. But we will need to help it out. We'll need to slow the aeroplane to about 180. As David's saying there, the PMDG 737 will fly the arc automatically. I think this does too. As you can see there, intercept 10 DME arc radial. You know what? Let's leave it at nav. We'll see if the aeroplane does it. We want thrust reversers left and right goes to the on position, and before landing checks. Yeah, that's all good. I'm just letting the speed trickle down. Numbers are set. Make sure the B speeds are alive. Performance. How are we doing? 5-4. Keep resetting the view here, but that's because I keep looking for different things. .200 knots. Alright, well that arc looks promising, look. And there is the airport. Not long to go, folks. Gran Canaria traffic, Binter 6203 is now turning southbound on the 10 DME arc for the ILS Zulu. Runway 03 left will report established. Gran Canaria traffic. Holding 200, let's just set the speed to 180 here. So we know the winds were around 30 knots-ish. We know that the last METAR said that they were gusting 40. And we also know that Gran Canaria is a volcanic, hilly, mountainous island. So the winds actually 030 degrees are coming over the hills. So we can expect wind shear. Hey David, look at this. It's flying the arc. Let's go flaps 8. I'm going to put in a bit of speed here to try and hold 190 to 180 knots. And we're at 3.5 for the...
You answered it correctly. It was Air Nostrum Madrid to Toulouse on April 13th.
Oh, fantastic, Doc. April the 13th, that long ago. That was the last time we flew the CRJ, folks. April the 13th. That's incredible. There we go. So this is flying the arc really nicely. Bring the range in a bit more. And what's the course? 026. Gonna leave that to fly its thing. Three, 5, 6 for 30-degree intercept. Just gonna set that on the heading bug ready. Neil was on the hill earlier today to the east of the threshold and had trouble holding the camera still. We've got our work cut out for us today then. Pro sim pilots. That is up. Done the lights and signs. This is flying the arc wonderfully. Look at that. Just holding this beautiful little angular bank all the way through the turn. Look at the sea state below. So choppy. Neil says the aircraft looked weird because they were all nose down trying to fight the wind. Brilliant. Well, you know what? Let's see if the aeroplane here replicates the same thing. Look, the aeroplane just keeps surprising me all the time. It's flying this arc wonderfully. We set the 10-mile fixed ring around it, which is the green dashed line, which you can just see actually through this. You see the top end here? That's the 10 DME fixed ring that we put around Gran Canaria South's VOR, which the aeroplane is tracking itself as per the charted procedure. Alright, well, let's set VREF. We know what our speeds are. We're going to hold below T up to 180 till the final bit, then we'll go to about 160-ish. Got a 30 knot headwind, so if 160 knots, our ground speed's going to be about 130 knots. Just clear that onto the checklist tab. Let's go down 400 feet per minute. Nice slow rate of descent down. We're still below that T. So about 190 knots or so. Real slow descent. I'm trying to keep my speed up because I know I've got people behind me as well. $199. DME hold. 15 miles. Ballsy, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing. Doc, thanks for your tip as well. Really appreciate that. Alrighty, so in a second we're going to go to heading mode. If I can get this across into the correct modes. One 1013. Speed's creeping back. I'm allowing it to now come back to about 180. I want it to come back to about 180. There's our final wing view. 106 likes, folks. Thank you very much. Look at the sea. It's incredible. This is where Microsoft Flight Simulator is starting to really come into its own. At this point in its development, I think it's doing a fantastic job. Right, 3000s. Don't want to go heading mode yet. Let's get a bit of speed in. Power in rather. 16 miles. Now we go heading mode. We go nav source onto green. Course 99 is not what we want, that's not correct. 026. Probably going to overshoot now. Well, we've got information suggesting that actually it's correct with the ILS. 026, let's bring the speed back a bit. And we're established. Gran Canaria traffic, Binter 6203 established, ILS 03 left, 12 miles. Gran Canaria traffic. Another stage of flaps. Look at that. I get a decent looking screenshot for the approach segment. There's the runway, and there's those millions of thingamybobs, wind turbines. Centuria, good morning. Okie doke. Now we want 2,500 set speed. Sort out the speed first. Glide slope's about to go active for the descent. Typing squirrel, good stuff. Don't let people like that put you off, of course, as well. There we go, on the glide. 21 knot headwind at the moment. There goes the nose. Bring the speed down with it. 8 miles almost. We're going 9 miles, gear down. Speed's rocking up real quick here. Let's go another stage of flaps. Flap 30. To be honest, we could probably do the approach at flap 30. That's a bit better. .25 set. Runway course is set and the heading is set in case of missed approach. .32. It's just dropped to 25. 7 miles. Want to check thrust reversers, nose wheel steering, all good, park brakes off, and no warnings on the CAS. Still 160. Go to full flap now. We're going to need a bit of power to counter that drag. Good grief, look how nose down the aircraft is. I see what you mean, Neil. So obviously usually we'd be about 2-3 degrees nose up. Look at that. About 2-3 degrees nose down with this headwind. Incredible. Okay, coming up to 4 miles now. Let's slow down to our final approach speeds. About 143-ish is what we want. Great approach. We've got gear down, 3 green and full flap now at 45, and our speed is good. We're on profile quite nicely. And the last 1,000 a bit feet is going to be tricky because look how bumpy it is. The aeroplane's correcting itself all the time. Let's get the autopilot off and fly it in.
1,000.
Wow, okay. That's interesting. Just as I hit turbulence. Actually, now the wind's kind of swept round to a slight cross, well, not crosswind, but it's gone from being on the right-hand side, pushing us left, to headwind that's more towards the left-hand side as we look at it, pushing us right. It's still predominantly a massive headwind.
Now, so at 3,800, we are going for the arc for ILS 003.
Oh, this is tricky.
Minimums.
That's me.
300 minimums.
Interestingly enough, with a crosswind you kind of know what you get. With this continuous headwind, and it's varying between almost 40 knots to 26 or so knots, it is throwing us around left, right and centre.
Minimums.
It's great. Oh, it's tricky, but it's great.
Minimums.
Keep shouting minimums at us. We're fine.
100 minimums.
Need the depth of perception looking at the end.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Oh, floated a bit too much there with the flare.
10.
I mean, the wind's now kind of throwing us that way. Interesting. First green. And we'll vacate Sierra 2. 60 knots, manual thrust. 14 degrees at 30 knots was that. That was on touchdown, I think it said. Gran Canaria traffic, Binter 6203's vacated Sierra 2, taxi to gate Papa 10 via Foxtrot and Romeo. Oh, that's the braking bug again. Bingo. Repeat. Off. Bit more power. Laps. I think the float there was me overcorrecting slightly, but it could have been a bit of a gust as well at the same time, which has kind of pushed the aeroplane suddenly back into the air a little bit. Interesting. I put it more down to pilot error though. I mean, it's so windy. It's so windy, the Asobo blob is floating. It's literally hovering because of the wind. Craziness. Here we are. Isla Canaries. Oops, wrong way. B26. Evil Cookie saying the CRJ is fun to fly, but it's disappointing all the bugs are still here despite the length of time it's been out. What sort of bugs do you mean? If it's weather radar, they can't do anything about that. But a lot of it is really good. Are you saying bugs? Some of it is fantastically made. Matthew, one of our channel members, was a real CRJ captain. He said that they've done a remarkably good job of recreating the CRJ. Pop those off. Just going to hit the brakes slightly here because I want to. Let's see. Big 5. Is it worth the money? Absolutely. It's fantastic for an aeroplane. Ah, boop. Sod's law, that'd happen. Let's go idle engine 1. Doesn't the CRJ have a default flight model though? Well, I think they've done tweaks to it.
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472 is slowing down to minimum approach speed for traffic. Gran Canaria traffic.
Gran Canaria traffic, customer.
Yeah, the LNAV we mentioned before was a load of rubbish. Swerving left, right, centre all the time.
Osprey 905 Canaria traffic number 2 behind Osprey 490.
Mondicus, make sure you go through the Orbex link though. No one's down yet. There he is. Still on final. We've got a bit of time. Let's get parked up, shall we? I think they're waiting for the weather API, to be honest. I think when that does come, we're going to expect a real nice juicy CRJ update.
Traffic, Shunix 93 Charlie, push and start, stand Papa 28.
Bingo. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. Ta-da! Just in time for touchdown. I've tried the FT Sim sound pack, but to be honest, I quite like the ones that Aerosoft have put in themselves. Probably a bit more. Here we go. I mean, I can see why there's a wind farm here. 40 degrees, 40 knots gusts, sorry. I bet they are absolutely spinning like crazy today. Maybe it could be a new Final Destination movie. Drive through and one of them comes off the thing and comes flying down and rotates down the road and cuts a load of cars up, something quite like wild like that. Such a slow ground speed of 30 knots. Basically 100 miles an hour. That is looking silky smooth. I think that was David. Nicely done. The wonderful Osprey 737 World Cargo livery. Jet2 Holidays. Holidays you can trust. 757. Now there's an aeroplane we want in the sim in MSFS. Neil, have a good flight. Enjoy.
Yep, we're just disconnecting the tow and then we'll taxi forward.
Just blocking the taxi.
I'll see what else on final yet. Got how quickly I've got this drone speed on. Awesome little AIG model that. There we are. Teeny weeny on a remote stand. Who else have we got then? Let's have a look. There's David. We've got Turbo Stig flying in shortly behind. Followed by Air Europa 9451. And that's the pack.
Traffic, Osprey 905, establish on ILS Zulu 03.
The scenery here is fantastic. Someone was asking, Benjamin was asking, can you showcase the airport? You kind of see here, we pan around different little sections here, the level of detail they've gone into, creating a remarkable bit of scenery here at Gran Canaria.
Shunix 93 Charlie, taxi into runway 3 right via Echo.
There's the tower.
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472 is at the end of the arc. 10 nautical miles.
How awesome is that?
Gran Canaria traffic.
Very good, very nice. And you can even pop into the tower. Say hello to Sally watching the planes go by. Look at that. You know what? Perhaps I should change my VATSIM trawler stuff to the Canary Islands. Literally sit here with tower view on VATSIM, couldn't you? Look at that. Amazing. See on VATSIM, apparently there's a 777-200 flying in. Ah, he's on Volanta. Damn it! Zoom in, see if I can actually find him. OS 9503. Oh, he's flying offline.
Turn traffic, Osprey 90155, nautical miles for Island Zulu 03 left. We'll vacate as soon as possible for you, Air Iberia.
That wind farm's just mega. Here comes the next pilot.
Thanks very much for that, Osprey 9015.
GCLP. Winds are 020 at 29 knots now. Apparently. Go, another Osprey pilot. He's in the A320. Looks like the Flyby-Wire A32NX, actually.
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472 is established on the glide slope for runway 05. Gran Canaria traffic.
He's going for butter, look.
Correction.
Oh, yes. Right on the centre line as well. We train our pilots very well at Osprey Airways. There's the Jet 2. Hopefully he holds short, because there is somebody else on short final.
Traffic, Osprey 905 vacated, 03 left via Sierra 2.
Chinook Library, Charlie holding short of runway 3 left.
Ah, just saw a glimpse of the lights. Yes, can see them on this angle here. So, a few seconds from now it should appear. Go. There he is. Bam. Should be right in the middle of the screen in a minute when he does appear. See the glint of his nav lights. Great airport scenery this.
Traffic, Iberia 2472 is on short final, runway 03 left. Gran Canaria traffic.
014 degrees at 30 knots for our touchdown. Touchdown at 119 knots. Amazing. Benjamin, that'd be X-Plane. It's the AIG model, which is how we've got it modelled in today. Thing is, your speed here, because of this massive headwind, 130 knots would effectively be 105, 110 knots at the moment, roughly, based on it gusting. So your approach takes even longer. Here he comes, last one of the pack. CRJ as well. So just like we did, we had to manually control the thrust, really tricky. Especially in this variable wind. Well, look at that bit of float there. The cross, obviously it changed from one direction to another there. The slight crosswind, you saw it push the aeroplane around slightly. Faris 318 is not actually that bad. It's kind of normal. Anything around 2 to 300 is a very realistic, very reasonable touchdown rating. Here we go. Accuracy on the touchdown zone is the most important thing. Like that. Oh, perfect. Smoothly down the nose wheel there as well.
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472 is exited at Sierra 2. Iberia traffic.
Attacks departing now. Where do we park? There's the two Ospreys over there. Premium airline Osprey Airways, so you have to park at the gate, naturally. Grab that screenshot there, very nice. Oh, there's one on final still. So it was the 777 that I saw. They've got a completely different call sign then to what they've got on Valanta. Is this, or have I got it all mixed up?
Gran Canaria traffic, Iberia 2472 is taxiing to the gate via Foxtrot and Romeo 12. Gran Canaria traffic.
Oh, it's Air Europa. It is one of ours. This is the final one in the grouping. So he's actually in a 737-600. Yeah, he flew to and from Marrakesh. I think this has got the invisible AIG tail playing. See it flickering away. That looked silky smooth. Chose the right lane like I did.
693 Charlie lining up runway 3 left.
One behind him as well. Good grief. Yeah, the one behind definitely isn't with our little flight today. Blown up hopefully in the next couple of weeks. It's hard to tell, to be honest. Oh, look at the windsock. Look at that, that's insane. Excuse the drone cam. Madness. Awesome weather today into Gran Canaria for flight simming. I'd imagine it's pretty bumpy for real.
Charlie, taking from a tree right, tree left correction, Gran Canaria traffic.
Okay, so there's the end of the touchdown strip there. Watch our tax depart. I'd pay a lot of money for a 757-200 in MSFS, providing it was good quality. First ever aircraft I operated on as crew years ago. Jesus, holy moly. How light is he? There we are. Gran Canaria. Beautiful Sim-Wings scenery here. To Marrakesh, Menara, the PerfectSoft Studios scenery as well. Both Payware Airport sceneries, of course, but very, very good quality indeed. In the CRJ1000, it's been ages. 13th of April was the last time we operated in this. Wonderful aeroplane. Forgot how much actually I enjoyed it, to be honest. It's really, really, really good fun. And thank you to everybody who flew along. Hope you had a great time. And really appreciate all of you guys choosing to subscribe today as well. So thank you to all of our new subscribers. Dave for your super chat earlier on, very generous. And Doc as well, really appreciate those. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe down below. Don't forget to give us a little like. And one more last time in the live chat, I'll put the Aerosoft CRJ MSFS bundle in there as a link. It's on sale at the moment with an incredible deal on Orbex. It's part of their Orbex Fly July event sales. Next live stream, next Wednesday. Live on VATSIM for the 20,000 subscriber group flight and giveaway. We're going to give away 2 737s on the day, and we're going to be flying from Miami to Toncontin for that really dangerous and tricky approach that is famous worldwide actually. So be sure to join us for that, tune in and everything else. In the meantime though, hope you have a great end of the week and the weekend ahead. And I'll see you next week for the big group flight. Thanks for watching, see you soon, take care.